we have to talk about the Pacers beating the Knicks. And low-key, the Pacers, their whole playoff run,
they handle
people
business.
They handle business, man. We've doubted them.
Mm-hmm.
People all around the NBA media have been doubting them because everyone was for sure Boston was going to be the number 1 seed, was going to be the team to beat in the East. And, things happen in Boston, unfortunately, with Jason Tatum. But
even the Cavs,
Yeah, even the Cavs. But there's no excuse for like the Pacers getting to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years in a row and now stamping their ticket to the finals. You have to give credit where credit is due because these guys play hard. They are coached well. They play great team ball. They just have really good chemistry. And that's what gives me a little bit of hope that we're going to see a very competitive series in these finals because these are two teams that I think match up very well with each other. And the Pacers, just credit to them, man. They've played really, really well. And it's not just Tyrese Halliburton. It's Miles Turner. It's Pascal Siakam, Andrew Nembhard. Dude, all these guys are TJ McConnell. They're all playing really well.
Obi Toppin,
Yeah, they got a squad.
They do. And we just got to give credit where credit is due because last year, let's be honest, that Pacers run to the Eastern Conference Final, it failed the diamond test. It was fugazi. And it's not because of them getting blown out by the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals is what led up to it. They beat a hurt Milwaukee team. They beat a hurt Knicks team. And they ran it back. They played it. Don't get me wrong. They still played a hurt Milwaukee Bucks team, but they handled them like this. They went then and played a 60-win Cleveland Cavaliers team. Smoked them. That we thought was clearly one of the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference Finals, Eastern Conference, and smoked them. Then you had the Knicks, where the Knicks came off such a great high, beating the Celtics where nobody thought they could beat them, that I feel like the Knicks peaked a little too early. And so the Pacers took advantage of that. That game 1 really, really ripped the Knicks hard out. It really, really did. And I don't think they ever recovered from losing that first game. Because then they lose that first game, and then they said, okay, we still have that second game at home. And then you lose the second game at home, knowing that you still have to go play 2 games in Indiana. And don't get me wrong, that Knicks home court advantage hasn't really been there all postseason. But I felt like that was one where they knew they had that was a game that they lost. That was and I know they ended up coming back from 20 in game 3, but even still, that first game, I don't think they ever got over that. I really don't think they did.
I agree. And what's even funnier about this is that the Knicks were so good on the road throughout these playoffs. If they would have just gotten that first one at home or even that second one at home, this would have been a completely different series. But like you said, the momentum was completely shifted in Indiana's favor when they go up 2-0 in the series. Taking both in Madison Square Garden. It just was a very difficult thing for the Knicks to come back from, and credit to them for getting it to a game 6 and, trying to compete. But the Pacers they came out stronger than them in those first 2 games, and ultimately it made the difference in the series. So Knicks fans, I see a lot of them overreacting. And again, they're another team that we will dive deeper into about their offseason and what they should be looking at. But if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm not panicking because the East is going to be wide open again next year with Boston out of the equation. And
it felt like this was their chance, bro. With Boston and Cleveland out of the way, and you didn't really have to. At the time, you thought the Pacers, if you would have told Knicks fans, yo, you're going to play the Pacers in 7 games and have a chance to make the NBA Finals, and to play either the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Minnesota Timberwolves, rather than maybe a team like Denver, maybe a team like Dallas the year before, maybe a team instead of Boston or Cleveland. They would have took that 10 times out of 10. They would have. And for them to get those odds and not capitalize on it, especially by not beating the Pacers, I just know Knicks fans are sick. And I love it. I
don't know, man. Seeing the Knicks lose like that, there was something about, I think it was just the idea that if the Knicks won a championship, the city of New York would be ripped out of the ground.
No, for sure. That would have been lit, though. That would have been lit.
That's what I'm saying is I really don't know if there's a city that would just celebrate that championship the way that a New York would.
So. Dallas would have. Okay, not an NBA championship, a Super Bowl. They would have.
Yeah, right.
I think the Knicks got a shot, but it goes back to that Becky Hammon quote, when Jalen Brunson is being that small of a guard, unless you're a generational player, it's not going to really work too well when he's your best player. And Jalen Brunson played great throughout these playoffs, but it was more so
But
they
is
had
he
a
the
good team.
problem? I think he was Cat, man. I think
I think it
like
was a little bit. I think it was a little bit of both. I think Cat wasn't the greatest, but you got to look at certain games. Cat hooped when he, for especially early on in that series. That game one, I think if you had to pick one or the other who was better, I think Cat was better in that game one. I think that game 6 was more so the game one that supporting cast really didn't live. OG was terrible. Mikhail wasn't good at all. I just feel as if those two, they complement each other well, but like they're both really high volume scorers. And more so the problem was Tibbs more than anything. I felt like Tibbs really, his in series adjustments weren't good at all, and his in series adjustments weren't good at all. And he got out coached, plain and simple. Rick Carlisle coached circles around him, and it's dope to see Coach Carlisle go back to another NBA Finals, because although we love to talk about great coaches like Greg Popovich and Phil Jackson, pardon me, and how great they were, and they're best in the best, some of the best coaches who have ever coached ever. Rick Carlisle is a Hall of Fame coach, and he deserves the recognition that he gets, that I don't think he's gotten for a very long time, because he is not on that level, but as far as maybe what is one of the 5 to 12 best NBA coaches ever, I think Rick Carlisle's on that list. I truly believe he is.
Whew. Hey, I mean, he has a very good resume, I would say. I think another championship. I would say another championship here would definitely start to put him in that conversation, in my opinion. And I mean, the resume over a lot of these guys who we consider, I don't want to say elite coaches, but people who are very highly thought of, Doc Rivers. I mean, I think there's a very large case that Rick Carlisle would be a better coach, or might be even a better coach in this moment.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
a second ring would definitely help solidify that, in my opinion.